Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to all the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I just wanted to go into this lesson. It's actually a personal testimony that happened to me earlier today, and it's very, very interesting. Lord will is edifying. So this video that I'm about to play, I actually watched this earlier this morning, maybe around 8 or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometime this morning. It was earlier in the day. And everything that this woman says in this video, I experienced it today. And so I'm going to give a brief, I think I might just go ahead and play it first and then give the testimony. And that'll probably be a little bit better. Well, no, I'll go ahead and explain it. So I went earlier around maybe 4 o'clock or so to go get something to eat from this place I go, little Mediterranean spot, to get some fish. And pretty much the day was today was kind of a cloudy, sun was kind of shining through, partly cloudy day. Didn't think it was going to rain today at all. Didn't even know it was in the forecast. And so when I was leaving, when I was getting ready to leave the house, I heard thundering. So I knew it was about to rain. I heard the type of thunder. It was close. So I knew it was about to rain. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and come right back home so I'll be okay. Don't have to worry about getting wet or nothing. But by the time I got on the road and got close to the location of where I was going, it started to rain. And then it was pouring. And then it was that heavy rain. I could see it on farther up ahead from my destination. I knew it was heading this way. So by the time I parked in the parking lot, I needed an umbrella because it was pouring down raining. And just to kind of give a brief description of, I didn't really put on no clothes or nothing. Like, I just pretty much had on a muscle shirt, that I work out in, some sweats, and, just some normal shoes, colored shoes, not really trying to do too much or nothing. And I given that description because it's important to what I'm gonna go into in the lesson. So anyways, by the time I get out the car and head up to the place so I can go get the food, it's pouring down raining. Now the place is inside of a mall. So I get up to the door of the mall, and there's a whole bunch of people just standing there because it's pouring down raining, and the wind was blowing. It wasn't just like, coming down, but the wind was blowing it too, blowing real heavy. So it was blowing my umbrella, and I had to kind of hold it with two hands just to keep it from flying away. And anyways, I got inside. I'm fine. I'm not too worried about getting wet anyway, but I wasn't getting wet because I got the umbrella. And, I get inside. Now, it was a woman that eventually she came and she needed, it was a woman. She was there with like maybe 2 kids, 3 kids maybe. And it was another, girl with her. I don't know how old she was. She may have been a teenager, may have been early 20s. The woman herself was probably like late 20s, early 30s, or maybe mid 30s. She wasn't old. She was young. So anyways, I go in there to the restaurant that I'm going to and talk to the guy. It's right by the door where I entered in. And, I seen somebody that I went to school with, so I kind of chopped it up with him for a second. Then talked to the guy. And while I was talking to the guy that I was getting the food from, I usually always have conversations with him anyway. She came in with one of her children, and she asked him if he had an umbrella. She was trying to just go to her car. Her car was parked out in the front. And I had my umbrella sitting right in front of me as I was paying for my food. I turned to look at her because she came behind me. I was just looking to see who was in here. And she, every time I kind of looked at her, she looked at me too, because I'm pretty sure she was wondering if she can use my umbrella. But I waited for the guy to answer. He said he don't have an umbrella. And when he said that, I turned to look back at her again. And, she kind of looked at me, was just standing there. So then I said, you can use my umbrella. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to get my car so I can put my kids in the car. and then she was just gonna pull up so they can get in and everything. So I told her, cool, she could use my umbrella. So I kind of sat down and was still just talking to the guy. I told her I was gonna be in there, so when she got done doing what she needed to do, she could just bring it back. Because it was still pouring down. I needed to get back to my car. So I'm just waiting, talking to the guy. And by the time I see her, finishing packing up everything that she had, she also went shopping and getting her kids in the car and everything. The guy, he had to go take another order. So I just went on and left and waited at the door. And then I seen her walking back with my umbrella. So by the time she got close enough to where I can walk out and not get too wet, I walked out and, had my food. And then I told her I'll walk her back to her car so she won't have to worry about getting wet. So I, walked her to the car under the umbrella and made sure she got in without getting wet. And then I went to my car and got in the car. And then I came back home. But as soon as I got back in the car and put the umbrella down, that's when this video had hit me. So I gave an explanation of the video. I gave a description of the day because all of this is important. So when by the time I got back home, it was still pouring down, raining. And, I came back inside, ate my food and chilled. Then when I got up to put, throw the food away, maybe like 20, 30 minutes later, it was back sunny outside. The rain was completely gone. No more rain. It was almost like I left, like the Lord purposely had it to rain at that specific time of the day. And he had me to go out to go get some food at that time, just for this encounter to happen, just so this lesson can even be a lesson. But it's gonna make more sense once you hear the video. I just went on and gave the testimony of what happened, and then this video is gonna make more sense of what happened, and now I'll give another explanation tying to everything that she's about to say. So just say this too. This is fair use. I'm not using this video to make any type of money, no monetary gains at all. This is strictly for educational purposes. This has nothing to do with no money. I'm not making no money off of your content, So without further ado, Lord will, this is edifying. And here you go.
God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have, and we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street, those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done. That man, no matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain. You were not made to handle the rain, but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what poured on you. When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him, and no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain. The difference also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella, some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy, and if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun, it shields, it provides shade, it allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made. So now, as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up. If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up.
Right. So this woman has, she's making good points and a very good analogy as well. Like I said, she gave the analogy of it being a rainy day. And, well, first and foremost, she said a man being a protector and being under a man is, how a woman's supposed to be, because a man is going to shield her from danger. And when you look at that analogy in the real world situations, a man, that rain It's all the different circumstances that this world throws at us. All the different trials, tribulations that this world throws at us, and a man being capable of leading, guiding, and protecting you from all different situations. Because there's a lot of situations and outcomes that women in general find themselves in that they would not be in if they was under the order of a man. But even more so, just with this analogy, the umbrella, she said it can be a $5, $10 umbrella. It might not be worth much, but it gets the job done. Meaning, even though the umbrella was cheap, you still would use it because at the end of the day, it's going to do what it's designed to do. And you're not going to complain that, oh, this thing is $5. I don't want this umbrella. Give me a $20, $30 umbrella. So it can. That's the kind of umbrella I want. You don't see people making those type of suggestions. I don't want no $5, $10 cheap umbrella. Give me a $30 umbrella. But because when that rain coming down, rain representing trials, tribulations, and different, atrocities, different trials and tribulations that and adversities. That's what that rain represents. That man is gonna be that shield, which the scriptures literally say that. So, like I said, I seen this video earlier today and was listening to what she said earlier. And I was like, okay, I had already said in my mind that I was gonna make a video on this. Because I was like, I like what she's saying, and I know Isaiah 32, which I'm gonna get it. It talks about a man actually being that shield, and then she even gave the analogy: you'll use a umbrella in the heat of the day as a shade, to keep you from getting overheated, getting too hot. And that umbrella is representation of the man. A woman being under the order or the umbrella of a man, just like a man being under the order or protection of Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah. Going back into that natural order. So like I said, when I left the house and I knew I was going to have my umbrella anyway, all the other people that was in, it was men and women that was there, at the mall, at the entrance, waiting for everything to die down so that they can go. It was some guys, they would run out, trying to run to their car so they can get out of there. I seen some women, like maybe it was only 3 women. They was walking to the car, kind of speed walking, trying to get to the car in the pouring down rain. But I'm just casually walking with the umbrella, not speed walking or nothing, not walking slow, but I'm just casually walking to the entrance because I got the umbrella. That umbrella for me represents Yahweh Shah, keeping me protected. Because I didn't get wet or nothing like that. I was good. I was, going under Yahweh Shah. But then when that woman came and she was, looking for an umbrella so she can do what she needs to do, and she didn't have no proud look on her face. She looked like she was in need. It wasn't like no desperation or nothing like that, because at the end of the day, she was just trying to leave. But at the same time, it was like a humble or humility type ordeal that she had on her face, coming in trying to exit, and she didn't even ask. I can just tell how she was looking and staring, looking at me. What she was hoping that I would allow her to use my umbrella just so she can go and pull up a car and do what she needs to do. And she indeed did bring the umbrella back. She wasn't going to just not do that. So, like I said, when she did come back and I, met her and got the umbrella, and then I walked her back, it was like it was symbolic, the umbrella being Yahweh Shah. And he was, making sure that I was able to walk through all the trials and tribulations and the adversity to get to my destination and do what I need to do. And in turn, I allowed that woman to be under pretty much like my order, her, representing whoever, but she was under my order, and she was able to do what she needed to do because she had something, she was attached to me at that moment. And then when she came back, I still allowed her to get back to what she needed to do, protected. Because that protection came from Yahweh Shai. He protected me. And because, I was holding my umbrella, she was under my guidance, my protection. And now she was able to get back to and do what she needed to do. And then I was able to get back home, safely and not getting wet or nothing like that. So it was very, very spiritual. Like I said, I thought about it as soon as I got back in the car. I remembered. So this is Isaiah chapter 32, starting at verse 1. It says, behold, I'm reading the AMP, a king will reign in righteousness. And that king being Yahweh Shai, I always get this. The Messianic age is again in view. So this is talking about Yahweh Shai. Behold, a king will reign in righteousness, and princes will rule with justice, which is the 144,000. Each one of them will be like a hiding place from the wind and a shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry land, like the shade of a huge rock in a parched and weary land to those who turn to them. And that's exactly what that woman experienced. That's exactly what that woman experienced. In the sense of being under the order of a man, which it was all, symbolic, because in hindsight, most people in the world would just saw that as me being polite or kind to allow somebody to use my umbrella to do what they need to do. And then I walk with them so they can go what they need to go. But on a deeper sense, once I got in the car and realized what just happened, this is what came to mind, and that video came to my mind. And again, it was a lot of people that was already standing at the entrance of the mall, but she was the only one that came and actually asked if and she didn't ask me directly, but I know she wanted to ask me. She asked the guy, and I had my umbrella right in front of me, but she was standing after he said no. She was still just standing there, and I knew she wanted to ask me. But I was reading her face, because I didn't just instantly offer it after she said it. Like I said, I paid for my meal and everything, and then I signed the ticket, because I paid with card. So I signed the ticket, and then after I did all of that, I turned back to her and I told her that she can use mine. So she kind of just sat there and waited, but I knew she wanted to ask me. I was peeping her energy. Like I said, it wasn't nothing proud or anything like that, because if she had any type of pride or she had some type of spirit on her that made it seem like she was entitled to use, like I was entitled to give her my stuff anyway, it wouldn't have happened like that. But she was the only one that actually came and asked, and because of that, she was the only one, her and whoever was with her were the only ones that was able to get out of the mall at that time without just getting wet. Everybody else, they either didn't have an umbrella or they had to sit there and wait. They didn't have an umbrella, so they had to sit there and wait, or they had to take their chances running out there getting wet. But she was the only one that actually had the opportunity. And then when she was, loading the stuff up in her car, I was watching her too. This is when he walked off. This is how I knew she was getting ready to come back. And I'm watching her with the umbrella. The umbrella wasn't even holding up with her, because like I said, the wind was blowing. I had to hold it with two hands just to keep it stable myself. But she holding with one, trying to put everything in. And while she was doing it by herself, she was getting wet because the umbrella kept blowing in all different directions. So that's something else I noticed. Even though she had the umbrella, she still couldn't manage it. Like, she couldn't do two things at one time, because she was trying to keep herself protected from the rain and still load up her merchandise, because I think at that point her kids was already in the car. And last thing she had to do was load that up and then pull up to me. Pull up to the front so she can give me the umbrella back. But when I actually had the umbrella and I carried, and I walked her out, I was able, because I was holding my food and I had one hand on the umbrella. I was able to hold it with one hand and it wasn't blowing or nothing. Like, I was able to hold it. And because I was able and capable of handling that type of pressure doing, with the wind and the rain, neither one of us got wet. So it just made me think about this. So I'm gonna read it again. Each one of them will be like a hiding place from the wind and a shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry land, like the shade of a huge rock in a parched and weary land to those who turn to them. And she, in this, example, in this testimony, was the one who turned to me for some, for security, basically, because that's what protection from the rain is, basically security from getting wet. But in a real life scenario, when it comes to real life applications or something different than, the rain being symbolic of some type of adversity, a man is the security for a woman. And the security for the man is Yahweh Shai with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which I'm going to get that. It was next chapter. It's Isaiah 33, starting at 5. In AMP, the Lord, I'm reading both. The Lord is exalted, for he dwells on high. He has filled Zion with justice and righteousness. And I'm going to read verse 6, AMP and KJV. It says, and he will be the security and stability of your times, a treasure of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. The fear of the Lord is your treasure. And in the KJV, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And that's what that's what comes with being under a man of Yahweh Shem Abishai. And like I said, when I was carrying the umbrella, it was stable. Even when I was coming in at the beginning, even though I had to hold on to it with two hands, holding on to it is like holding on to the faith in Yahweh Shai. Because for us, Yahweh Shai is that umbrella. We are under his umbrella. Us men. And women are under ours. So even coming in, I just had to hold on tight. Be patient, hold on to the faith. But in the end, I made it into the destination safely. And with the woman, I was able to hold on with it with one hand where she didn't have to worry about anything. All she had to do was stay under my order. And her staying under my order was staying under the umbrella. So that because if she wasn't under the umbrella, she'd be getting wet, She'd be taking all the adversity that she could have avoided if she just stayed under my order. And that's how women supposed to be in general. They're supposed to stay under the order of a man so that they won't find themselves in all type of predicaments that could have been avoided had they stayed under a man. So this goes to show you the value of a man of Yahweh by Shem Abishai. It's Isaiah 13 and 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. That man being made more precious than fine gold is the man of the Lord, the elect. The 1/3. Those are the men Yahweh Bashim Abishai are making more precious than the finest of gold. And it makes even more sense, especially to me after experiencing something like that and just thinking like, man, I seen this video this morning, but then this scenario plays out from the video with just a slight alteration. But it's the same thing. The exact same thing. And like the woman said, if she was without an umbrella in the rain, she gonna come back smelling like wet clothes, whatever else, smelling like outside because she's all wet. But because she was under the umbrella and protection of a man, she was able to go and do what she needed to do. And she didn't even know, even if she knew the rain was coming, she had no way out of that situation outside of waiting like everybody else would have. But because, I came prepared. I came prepared for what I was going to need for the journey, to go to get my food. She came under that order because she had to come. She came to me. I wasn't even going to offer. That's the craziest thing about it. I wasn't going to offer none of them women. I would have seen them women. If she never would have came in there, I would have talked to my guy. Once I got done talking to him, I'd have walked right out and went right back to the car, got in the car and left, went home. Because I don't have no need to, and it's not to be, on nothing rude or anything, but I was thinking about this, I think yesterday, I think it was yesterday. uh, women that's not under my order or anything, unless it's just, something like something, small or something like that. Like if a woman drops something, I might help her pick it up or something, something being kind to others, but something like that. If they just waiting at the door and I got an umbrella, I'm not gonna offer no woman, to walk to her car or something like that or something, especially if she's not asking for it. I was gonna go to my car and just go. I don't have no sense of I'm entitled to do anything unless this woman is with me or unless I have a logical reason within myself to do this for this person, And like I said, it's not not on being rude or nothing. It's just, that's just how I was thinking, But the fact that she came to me and the fact that she came humbly, she was able to get that protection. She was able to do what she needed to do. And I didn't see it. I wasn't looking around, but I knew everybody was watching because even when I left, it was still a lot of people standing at the door just waiting. They was watching the rain, watching the wind blow and everything, and they were just watching. So I know it was people watching me walk her back to her car, and I had the umbrella and everything, and then I left. I'm knowing subconscious, like I felt everybody watching. Then I even seen the guy walking up, he ain't had no umbrella, and he was just trying to weather the storm while walking into the mall, and then other people were driving around. I know everybody was watching that, but those that was in the mall, they didn't have no means to get to their car until it slowed down to where they can walk out. So this is Isaiah 4 and verse 1. It says, in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear and provide our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our shame of being unmarried. And this, applies to that situation as well. Because she didn't ask me for no money. She didn't ask me for this, that, and the third. And she asked to use the umbrella. That's like being called by your name. Let me be attached unto you. Let me be under you. So, for protection, for safety. You don't have to take care of us. You don't have to provide for us. You don't have to do any of that. Just let me be under you. Let me be attached unto you, And I would be your wife. I would do whatever you want. I will serve you. I would, that's the type of mindset they have. But just her, like I said, coming and asking, to be, she asked the guy for an umbrella, but she was looking at me. Like I said, I look back, and when I look at her, she'll look me in my eyes. She'll look at me. So I knew she wanted to ask, and she probably just didn't know how. Or probably was just waiting. But regardless, it's it was the same thing. Like I said, I wasn't thinking about none of these scriptures while I was playing out, because I'm just trying to go get my food and go home and chill. I wasn't thinking about a woman trying to use my umbrella or nothing like that. But because she did, and because I walked her out and everything, it was like her being under my protection. She was attached into me because, again, if I went to that same location with a woman, then obviously 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10 for the most part, when we leaving, she's going to be under my umbrella. I'm going to make sure she doesn't get wet. So that's her being under my protection, making sure no harm comes her way. And me being the head, being designed, me doing what I was designed to do, what Yahweh Shem Abishai designed me to do. And that's the type of woman, that's the mindset these women are going to tap back into. Some of them are already tapping into, but it's going to come even more so, that a man was designed to do and handle these situations that women weren't designed to do, which we know this now. But, the women as of the elect, they coming into this mindset, and that's why I say also take away our shame of being unmarried, because that independent mindset is dying. Independent woman mindset or strong independent woman, especially strong black independent woman, that mindset is dying rapidly, fastly approaching the final death, you know? And that's a shame unto women, especially to have that type of mindset, because hell, an independent woman would have had to wait for that rain, that pouring rain, and that wind that was blowing with it. She would have had to wait it out. You know, ain't no telling how long it could have lasted. But because, you know, in which I hope I'm of the elect, you know. But a man of the Lord, you know, came in and came prepared under the guidance of Yahweh Shai. And she came in unto that order, and she was accepted, you know, because like I said, I allowed her to use my umbrella, but she couldn't handle it on her own. So even when she came back, I made sure she got, you know, back to the car and everything. So when she came under that protection, she was, you know, safeguarded. So I just want to go into that testimony, and that's very spiritual, because like I said, I was gonna do a video. I was gonna do a video on this anyway. Like I was gonna do a video on that video anyway this morning. When I seen it, I was like, yeah, I want to do it on this. But then it just so happened that same scenario on the video played out in real life. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing a video on it. And Lord will, this was an edifying lesson. So I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children that they're keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.